Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, however I find you. I am recording a video right here. I have no idea how long it's going to be. It's probably going to be a longer video. And I'm going to preface it. I'm going to warn you about this. I have had clients all throughout my career, but specifically lately, who've really struggled with implementing plans from their goals. Yes, we have goals and people talk about goals. Everyone talks about goals. Those are very important, but we need to implement a plan towards those goals. If we have no plan to implement, it's useless to set the goal because we're not going to work towards it, generally speaking. Every once in a while, I meet one person that's really odd in a good way who can implement plans, but most people need a skill set to implement those plans. So today what I'm going to be talking about is how can you build a plan that is workable? How can you focus? How can you get the most out of your plan so that you are consistently working without procrastination, without other things getting in the way? How can you consistently work towards your goal? We're going to talk about that. Where I'm going to start off, I've got a half cup of tea here. I've just had a little bite of chocolate, so I'm feeling good. We're going to start in on this. And again, here's the warning. This is the process I use. That does not mean it's the best process, nor does it mean it's the best process for you. It's the best process for me. The way I figured this out was by talking to many mentors in my life, talking to many people that I've believed over the years have a ton of wisdom, and I've gleaned that wisdom from them. I've asked them consistently, how do you do your planning? How do you look at your goals? I've studied many courses on this. And what I've done is I take the bits and pieces from every one of their courses that applies to me. I don't copy anyone completely. That doesn't make any sense. That works for them. I need to find a system that works for me. So this is my system, and what I'd recommend is that you experiment with it, play with it. Take the parts of this that are super useful to you. And the other parts that you go, you know what, this doesn't really apply to me, that's fine. Listen to other people, listen to other mentors and coaches, and find out what works for you, and then apply that. There is no one-size-fits-all system with goals or plans. You need to find something that works for you. I don't give this plan that I'm going to be talking about today or teaching you today, I don't give it to everybody, every one of my clients, because it doesn't fit all my clients. Sometimes I give very different plans to people, depending on what their needs are, depending on their personality, all that kind of stuff. I just had an engineering client, someone who's previously an engineer, now he's a full-time investor doing very well, purchasing lots of units, and he asked me for some help with this. So this is the system that I gave him. It's a very straightforward system. It takes a while to put together, but once you've put it together, the time is so worth it because you will be focused every single day. Not only every week, not only every month, but every single day. You can develop your routines that fit your plans. So, further ado, I'm going to get into this. So I'm going to show you my screen here. 9 areas of goals. These are 9 areas of goals that I look at. And what I would do is just to start off with, I'd simply put down what are my areas or what are my goals in these areas. So let's say 9 areas of goals, and let's pick a timeline, okay? So let's say 5 years from now. Now, I'm not going to put a time stamp on this one. Typically, I always am planning my goals for October 10th, 2028. That's when I turn 50 years old. I've been running my life for the last 20-some years, working towards that goal. So it's always the goal that I have in mind. It doesn't matter how far in the future it is. It could be 30 years in the future, like when I set up my goal, or it could be 3 months in the future. It could be 2 years in the future. What I'd recommend, if you're not sure, put 5 years. Okay, this is a general decent idea. If you've set it too far in the future, what starts to happen is it's too far removed from you. You can't picture yourself, what you're going to look like or what your kids are going to be like or other people in your life are going to be like. And because of that, our mind, because it's not clear, tends to disassociate from that. And we don't get as much from these goals. We're not able to really engage in this process. So 5 years from now, and I'm going to play this not from my goal standpoint. I'm going to play it out from kind of one of my average clients, kind of what they're looking for. Okay, so finances, investing. Let's say cash flow positive. I don't know, $120,000 annually. Okay. So this person is saying I want to have residual. Okay, I'm going to put residual here. So passive residual cash flow of $120,000 a year. That's what we're going to set as our goal for 5 years from now. Okay. Now keep in mind that this is specific, but it doesn't have to be ridiculously specific. Okay. simply make a specific goal. We've got a number amount, we've got a time, that's enough, okay? Physical health. So maybe somebody wants to lose some weight, maybe somebody wants to do something else, maybe they want to run a marathon, okay? And for that, this is a simple goal, right? Run a marathon that's very easy to measure 5 years from now. And maybe this person is overweight, they want to lose a little bit of weight, and they want to run. Now, maybe it's some other goal, okay? For some people, instead of running a marathon, maybe it's simply climb stairs and go hiking with my son without running out of breath, okay? Or feeling I cannot do it. Okay, so maybe that's as simple as it is. Physical health goals are a little more difficult, but I'd be very specific here. Do not put goals like, I want to feel good. that says nothing. It means nothing. It's very difficult to measure. Have something that's measurable, okay? Education and growth. So maybe one of my clients wants to join an organization called Entrepreneurs Organization, okay? So EO. And this is an organization, you have to have $1 million of revenue a year in your company and 3 employees to join this. So that's a pretty big goal. I'm going to just say join EO, or you could have something else. Go on, here, I'm going to put something else. Join 4% mastermind group with Mark, okay? So this is a program that I offer. It's at $15,000, and maybe somebody goes, you know what, right now, I'm not sure if I can afford that, but maybe in the future I could. And it's a year-long program. I can get so much out of it. Maybe that's something you want to join, okay? Self-transcendence. So self-transcendence is about, and what I want you to do is fill out something in every one of these categories, okay? Self-transcendence is stuff that you're doing outside of yourself, beyond yourself. What are you doing? This could be for your kids, for your family, for your partner. This could be for people in another country. What I encourage you to do is think about this. What do I want? And maybe it's start my own charity, okay? Or whatever. Or maybe it's volunteer, because you got more time on your hands. Volunteer 8 hours weekly to my favorite cause. Okay? So you're simply throwing things in here. I want you to put one in each of these categories. This is getting your mind thinking. This is a very good practice. I'm going to give you some better help in just a second here. But daily work. What do you want to be doing on a daily level? What do you want your daily work to look like? So focused on managing my property manager on my real estate holdings. Okay? For, I don't know, 1 hour or less daily. And then maybe it's also analyze more deals for 120 minutes daily. Something like that. So 1 hour, sorry, I was talking about minutes here. We can talk about hours. Let's make it less confusing, right? So focus on managing my property manager for my real estate holdings and analyze more deals. So 3 hours, this is your work day. This is what you're planning. Because you're making $120,000 a year, we're going to take this one out because this is a little high in the sky for this person, this specific person. But analyze more deals for 2 hours daily. That's good. If they're able to do this, then the aspects of their day will be fantastic, okay? Mental and emotional health. See how this all goes together. All of these plans work well together, okay? Mental and emotional health and addictions. Some people want to quit something. People want to do other things. Now, I would say for 5 years, that's not what you want, right? But mental and emotional health. You could talk about something. I often don't have something specific here. I would say routine of mindfulness on a daily basis. Okay, so that could be as simple as it is. That by this time in 5 years, you've got really strong, healthy, emotional and mental health state, and you are simply maintaining that. That's fine. Okay, and you can even say that maintain my routine. Okay. Now, relationships, family and friends. Think about 5 years from now. Where do you want your relationships to be? Maybe it's to be married. Maybe it is to have 2 kids. Maybe it is to, so those are fairly specific goals. Maybe it is spending quality time with my family consistently. Now, this is very vague. Relationships typically are a little more vague, so I'd recommend that you go into that a little bit, okay? Date night each week with my husband or wife or whoever, okay? Or maybe, here, I'm going to put partner. That's covers everyone, right? Then, or maybe it is weekly offsetting date with my 2 kids. So maybe every Wednesday morning, this is something that I've done for years. Every Wednesday morning, I'll go on a date with one of my kids, and the next Wednesday I'll go on a date with my other kid, and just take them out, spend some time with them. Yeah, and that could be as simple as that is. Now, if you've got problems in your relationship, maybe you want something healthier, and maybe you want to be more specific there. Rest. What am I going to do to rest? So this comes back down to mental and emotional health. It ties in with relationship. It ties in with daily work and self-transcendence. So maybe I'm going to say 2 months holidays in a warm place every winter. Or you know what? Here, let's make it again really fitting this kind of revenue and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so 1 month holiday in a warm place every winter, and maybe it is 2 camping trips with my family. Okay, and you can also go into other rest things like daily 2 hours of exercise. And again, this can be a rest in a unique way, right? This is not rest from physical exercise, but it could be rest from work in different ways. And it does help with mental activity. Maybe 1 hour. Let's again keep this where it should be. And another part of rest is take 1 hour every day to read, learn, and grow. Okay? So again, this is a rest from certain activities. You're going to be doing other activities. This is actually a great way to rest. TV is not restful. Doing something with our mind that's different than the regular routine, that's fantastic for rest. And spirituality. Maybe you are specifically religious in a specific religion. Maybe spirituality means something different to you. I'll tell you what spirituality means to me. Spirituality is how we make meaning. How we invest our time to a greater cause outside of ourselves. So again, it goes back to self-transcendence in a different way. But spirituality is about how do I make meaning? How do I make sense of this world? Where do I see purpose? So what is my purpose? And this could be a lot of things. This could be giving to others. This could be time. This could be money. This could be environmental. I was just talking with my kids about how they want to give to other situations and causes. And for them, it's very much about the environment. For them, it's very much about animals. They love animals and trees and green things. So they want to invest in that. That's fine, okay? What is your spirituality? If you don't know what this is, that's fine. Now, so you've got your 9 areas. You can be far more specific than this, but I've just highlighted or bolded those headings so that you can see what's going on. And now the next part is where it starts to get far more exciting. Now, keep in mind, I told you right at the beginning, this process for a lot of people is going to be very difficult the first time you do it. I have done it many times. I do this on a quarterly basis, but I absolutely do it every year on my birthday or around my birthday sometime. And when you do this, it should take a few hours. If it doesn't take you a few hours to do this, you're probably not doing it properly, at least not in the way that I do it properly. Having said that, again, you've got to figure it out for yourself and know that the more work you put in the beginning, the easier things will get at the end. If you stick this out to the end of this video, you're going to find how easy how much simpler your life becomes at the end, how focused you can become, and how easy it is to see what your next step is. All right. So here are your 9 areas of goals. What I want you to do now is choose one area that you want to focus on, maximum 2. How do you choose? All of these areas of life are important in my opinion. Okay, but maybe right now you go, well, you know what? The biggest goal right now, the biggest focus for me is really to make more money. Making more money allows me to invest in my physical health. It allows me to invest in education and growth, or start my own charity, or do less work per day and spend more time with family or rest. Or it basically fulfills all these others. So if that's the case, what I would do, again, maximum 2. Typically what I do is I focus on finances investing, and then sometimes I focus on daily work for a year. Sometimes I'll focus on education and growth for a year. It depends on what I'm lacking. But that's typically how I make this decision. I ask myself, what am I lacking most right now? What do I need to work on most? Maybe your relationships are really strong around you. If that's the case, if this is not an area of focus, not because it's not important, but because it's already in a good place, just delete it, okay? And then what I would do is, again, rest. Maybe you go, you know what? Rest right now is most important. Great, focus on it. If it's not important, delete it, okay? Maybe mental health and emotional health. Maybe you go, you know what? I don't need to work on this as much right now. I'm in a good place mentally. Maybe spiritually, yeah, I'm in a, or maybe like sometimes there have been years where I've asked myself, you know what? Do I really need to work on my spirituality right now? It's not perfect. I do want to work on it a bit, but that's not my main focus. Again, you are going to be limited to 2 things right now. So this is what I'm going to say. Let's focus on these 2. Let's say, you know what? If I focus at finances and investing is my first and biggest goal right now, but self-transcendence, volunteering and starting my own charity, this is something that's really important to me. Let's say these are the 2 things that you say for this year, these are the things you want to work on, okay? So what you're going to do, here, I'm going to just delete everything in front of this. What you're going to do is you're going to start with that, and you're simply going to go plan for this year, okay, or next 12 months. And again, you're going to make this very focused. You are going to make sure that it's bold, and maybe it's a little bit bigger, okay, so that again you know exactly what's going on. This is where it starts to become a lot more fun, and this is where the planning starts to come into play. So you've set your goals, and there are many ways to set goals. This is just one way that I gave you. I often give different people different systems for this. But I look at this and I go, okay, finances investing is my first and foremost goal for me this year. That's the thing that I'm lacking. That's the thing that I want to work most on to get myself in a great place. Self-transcendence is also important, and I want to start in on this, but really finances investing is what I need to focus on. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, in the next 12 months, if I want to be cash flow positive, residual, passive income of $120,000, meaning if I don't do anything, if I do very little, this is how much I gain from, okay, I'm going to be more specific, from real estate holdings. Okay, so this is from real estate holdings, real estate investing. What I want you to do next, sorry, I'm using this because a lot of my clients are real estate investors. I often help people with real estate investing a ton. So you've got this goal. You ask yourself, what are 1 to 3 actions I can take this year, areas that I can improve this year, focuses for this year, 1 to 3, no more than 3, that will move me closer to this goal? Well, again, you need to know, where are you? Where are you? If this person has never invested in any real estate, then the big plans might be learn about real estate investing. If this person maybe has purchased 1 property, or maybe has done a lot of education but has never purchased a property, maybe this year is purchase my first property. Okay? And this is going to be an up and down duplex. Okay? So it's going to be a good real estate investment. Now, maybe you've already done that. Maybe it's, instead of purchase your first property, maybe you've made a couple of purchases. Maybe it's purchase my first 20-unit building or plus 12 units or above, whatever it is. Okay, this is what you do. That's one goal. Now, again, you're going to ask yourself, do I need any more education? Maybe it is, hey, if I haven't purchased any properties, or I haven't purchased many properties, I'm going to say hire Mark or Ken to mentor me. Okay? Now, things get strange really quickly when you start working this process, because you start to learn very quickly, oh, wait a second, hire Mark and Ken to mentor me? That's not really the plan for this year. That's kind of my plan maybe in the next few weeks or something. So I'm going to move that down and ask myself something bigger. What do I need to do this year? So purchase my first property. You know what? In that I'll have to educate myself. That's going to happen before the year's out. So that's the only thing that I'm going to put up. Purchase my first property. Now, what a lot of people do is they ask themselves, $120,000 a year in residual income. Well, I would just have to divide that by 5 because it's 5 years from now. So 120 divided by 5, that's what, $24,000. So I need to be passive cash flow of $24,000 a year. That's not the way the world works. It's not the way life works. The way life and business work is you start, and for the first, if you got a 5-year goal, for the first little bit, it seems like you're crawling along. It looks like you haven't been making a lot of headway. You're learning, you're growing. It's like a bamboo plant. What happens is bamboo, at least one species of bamboo, for the first, I don't know, however many years, 2 or 3 years or something, simply sends roots into the earth and really gets a strong root system. And then when it's ready to grow, it shoots up really quickly. And that's how business works. So for example, you're not going to say divide it by 5, well, it's $24,000 a year, or for the first year. What you're going to say is, I need to get certain things in place. If I get, this is how you make this decision. If I purchased my first property, if I was ready to purchase it, if it was cash flow positive, if it's fantastic, my first cash flow positive property, okay? Because it's very different. You can purchase a property, it could be a terrible deal, and you could pay out your nose, right? That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for cash flow positive real estate. So if this is your goal, you need to ask yourself, and even in choosing this goal, what is going to get me to a place, if I'm at this place by the end of next year, where I can see myself hitting this goal in 5 years? Really, you know what? If you were able to go from nothing to purchase your first real estate property and it's cash flow positive, that's fantastic. And maybe I need to learn about JV partnerships. Maybe you don't have a lot of money on your own. Maybe you are seeking money from other people around you to purchase real estate. And that's a great way of doing it, using other people's money. You bring the expertise, they bring the money. So now maybe you've got 2. Now listen, I'm gonna make this only 2 action steps for this year, specifically because so many people get carried away and they write down 18 things down here. You don't need 18 things. You need 1, 2, or 3. Okay, so for the first plan, as I think about this plan, I'm gonna have purchased my first cash flow positive real estate, and I'm gonna learn about JV partnerships. Okay, become confident enough to use someone else's money for this purchase. Okay. So again, maybe you are purchasing this first property and you're using somebody else's money to do it. Okay, that's an excellent goal for this year, an excellent plan for this year. So now that we've covered finances and investing, we go, you know what? If I did this after my first year, in my second year, I could do 3 or 4 or 5. And then in the year after that, I could do like 5 or 10. And the year after that, I now have some of these cash flow positive deals. Now I can start by year 4, 4.5, refinancing them. Sometimes I'm selling them off. Sometimes I'm refinancing them, depending on the partnership that you have. And in year 4 or 5, that's where I can just kind of throw the money that I've made from these real estate deals into the few deals that are going to make me this much money a year. So maybe it is by that time you were going to have own one 30-unit building, let's say 30 plus unit building, okay, that provides profits. So this is after all your expenses, right? You have profits of 5K, or sorry, 10K. Okay, so 10K a month will give you exactly what you need. And a 30-unit building can do that if you've got the right amount of equity in it. So again, you're looking at this and go, you know what? If I purchase my first cash flow positive real estate property and I learn enough about JV partnerships that I can fund it with other people's money, maybe some of my own, but someone else's money as well, then that I can do that. Okay. Now, if your goals are bigger than this, maybe you say I start a REIT in 5 years. Maybe you say I start a club and we purchase multitude of properties, or maybe I build my first multi-unit property. You can do this however you want. Okay. I'm not trying to limit you. Now I go to the next one. So what are my plans to start my own charity and volunteer 8 hours weekly to my favorite cause? Maybe it is decide by the end of the year which cause I will invest my time and money in. Okay? And again, this is not very specific. Like, it's specific enough to make a decision, but it's not super specific, right? You're not figuring out how you're going to do this. The how actually comes later. And again, self-transcendence This isn't, let's use, I'm the fake client for an example. I don't, this is not my primary. My primary is finances and investing. My secondary is self-transcendence this year. Okay. So this, even if I decide by the end of the year how I'm going to invest my time and money in, that's excellent. Okay. 8 hours weekly. That's when I have all this money so that I can invest far more time every week for this. Okay. Let's make this an even round number. So every day you're spending a couple hours at your favorite cause. Okay. All right. Once you've done this, and again, this can be more specific, often I will write out what is my plan, what is my calendar for the year when I do this on a yearly basis. I write down all the family trips that I'm taking. I write down, so going back to those 9 areas of goals, I ask, my wife and I have a conversation almost every October, and we go, what are the next 12 months? What are our trips? And when are we going to take these trips? We put them into our calendar. When am I learning or growing more? How much am I going to invest in myself? I'm doing all of those things constantly. But for this right now, we'll just work on the plan, okay? So now you have the plan for this quarter, okay? And let's say your birthday, I don't know, maybe your birthday is, what font am I using? Okay. Maybe your birthday is in March, okay? So this is March 14th, okay? So this is March, April, and May. Okay. Now remember, we've got some other stuff going on in the bottom here, okay? But for right now, plan for this quarter. What you're going to ask yourself is for each one of these things, what can you do in the next quarter that will set you up that if you get them, if you complete them, you're going to be well set up for accomplishing this next thing. So again, this is something that's really fantastic about this system. What this system does is I'm not constantly going, how am I going to make 120K a year? How am I going to make 120K a year? I'm not making anything right now. Well, if that's the case, it's going to be really hard to dream that big. But if you set a big goal here, 5 years from now, and you simply go, how do I break it down for this year? Now, how do I break it down for this quarter? Now, how do I break it down for this month and this week and today? Then pretty soon you're thinking, well, wait a second, I can do what I need to do today, right? So plan for this quarter. If I want to purchase my first cash flow positive property, the up and down duplex, what could I do this next quarter? In the next 3 months, what could I do to really make sure I'm accomplishing that goal? Maybe it is to finish the course I purchased from Ken. Okay, the reason I'm using Ken is it was my first real estate mentor, fantastic human being. I don't know if you can even hire him anymore because he's kind of stepped down from coaching. There's one program that I offer, him and I offer together, that you could be part of, but just a pitch for Ken Beaton. He's phenomenal. If you really want to understand multi-residential real estate, he's fantastic. I've got another friend who's an expert on commercial real estate, who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So again, what you want to do is go to people who are fantastic, not only fantastic, but they're also a great teacher. If somebody knows what they're doing and they've been fantastic at what they've done, but they're not a great teacher, you're not going to learn as much. You need somebody who's a great teacher first and foremost, and then obviously try to find somebody who's done this themselves. Okay, so you want to finish the course you purchased from Ken. And because he doesn't offer them on his own, you'll do it from both of us. Okay, now if you finish the course, maybe it's like a 12 module course. You go, okay, so you go 12 modules or whatever it is. And again, that's this quarter. Now this quarter, the cool thing is about a quarter has about 13 weeks in it, right? So 13 weeks, it's got exactly 13 weeks. So 13 weeks, 12 modules, this is great. Now I've got a plan starting to form in my head, right? Is there anything else I would need to do to purchase my first cash flow positive property? Maybe it is develop routine of analyzing properties on a daily basis. Decide which area of the country I'll invest in. Okay? Maybe those things, if I do those 3 things, if I make a decision on this, I've got a great routine, and I finish the course, I'm going to be really well set up in that next quarter from June to August to make sure that I get this next step done, right? So I'll be well on my way to purchasing my first property. Now, I also need to learn how to do JV partnerships. So maybe it is to have a presentation for JV partners that I'm confident in. Whew, that's actually a big goal, right? To have a presentation for JV partners that I'm confident in. That could take 3 months. It could be a lot of work to get into that. But if you've got the presentation ready in 3 months and you're confident in that, then when you get ready to purchase this property, you just have to have this done in 12 months, right? So what you're doing is you're front loading it on the learning and the education and the preparation so that you can get these goals accomplished, okay? And then the last one you said was decide by the end of the year which cause I will invest my time and money in. You know what? You go, you know what? For this quarter, I'm looking at these things right here and going, that's actually a lot of work. Maybe I'm also working a full-time job, and so this is a side hustle for me. So maybe I go, you know what? That's probably enough, okay? One thing that I highly recommend for everyone, if you are planning your this for the first time, look at your year and ask yourself, what do I need to do to prepare? What do I need to do to learn and grow? This is the best question you need to ask yourself, because if you are not learning and growing, you're not going to purchase a property. If you go and just spin your tires, so many people try to take quick action and just lose focus and desire and motivation because they don't know how to do it. So they start procrastinating, get frustrated, okay? This plan is to beat that. All right, so you've got a basic plan for this quarter, and you notice that this only had 2 items, okay? Now you've got 3 items here, and actually now you've got 4 items in your quarter. What starts to happen is it can really add up easily, and sometimes you're going to even have more than that, okay? Here, you know what I'm going to do? Use my copy and paste friend, okay? This month, so this is for March. Your plan for this month, and again, you're going to go right back and you're going to do the same system. You're going to forget about everything above here, okay? You're going to forget all this stuff. You're simply going to go below and ask yourself, for this month, what could I do this month to finish the course I purchased from Ken and Mark for 12 modules? Well, maybe you say complete up to module 4 with, this is a big one, with action steps. So you're gonna commit to taking action on all of these modules that you're completing. Now, if you do 4 for March, 4 for April, 4 for May, you've got a week in there somewhere where there's a little bit of wiggle room. This is a good plan now, okay? There's consistency. You're moving in the right direction, but there's a little bit of wiggle room. That's excellent. You're going to ask yourself for this one, develop a routine of analyzing properties on a daily basis. How do you develop this? So you're going to reach out to Mark and ask how he analyzes properties. Okay. Now again, reach out to Mark and ask how he analyzes properties. That's a great idea. But you know what? That's fairly easy to do. You don't have to wait a month for that. So maybe what you're going to do is, again, you're just going to put it to the side. Anytime you have something that you're like, actually, this isn't big enough for this month or this quarter or this year, just put it to the side. We'll fill it in later, okay? So what else could you say? Again, 1 to 3 things. You never put more than 3 things. Anything else for finishing the courses? No. Anything else to develop a routine for analyzing properties on a daily basis? What could I do for this month? Maybe this month I have meeting with real estate mentor or coach, and maybe you also purchase a digital or a software or an app that helps with analyzing. Okay, so if you meet with your mentor and coach to discuss analyzing, okay, and you purchase a software app that helps with analyzing, now you're probably in a pretty good place. If you did these 3 things this month, they're not huge, they're not overwhelming, but if you did these 3 things this month, you go, yeah, you know what, I'll finish the course and help with analyzing properties. I'll have that routine, okay? Decide which of the area of the country I'll be investing in. Well, maybe I do now research which area of the country I'll invest in. Use GRM as a guide of less than 10. Okay, so GRM, this is gross rent multiplier. You don't need to know this for these purposes probably, but what this is a way to start going, okay, which area of the country can I find lower than 10 GRM type properties? So it's using a system that's very simple. A GRM is very easy to figure out. You can figure this out in like 30 seconds or less based on the number somebody gives you. Should I even look more at this property? So that's actually a really good guide. That helps with my analyzing as well, right? So I don't even have to spend lots of time on this app that's analyzed everything for 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes. I can now analyze a lot of properties, okay? And you know what? I'm just realizing, wait a second. Part of my routine, I want to analyze 10 properties each day. Okay, that's what you want to do. Now, again, if you want to analyze 10 properties a day, you're going to have to find a really quick system for that. So again, you're thinking about this and going, well, I want to do this, so how do I do that? I want to do this, so how do I do that? Which area of the country I'll invest in? Yeah, you know what? Maybe that's the first thing I do. That'll be fine. And have a presentation for joint venture partners that I'm confident in. Maybe I create my first presentation and try it out with Mark. Okay, so let's say you've got a mentor with a different name. That's fine. Do that. Okay, so you create your first presentation and try it out. If you did that in your first month of this quarter, then wait a second. If you've got that done and then you tweak it in the second month and then you just really practice the third month, you could probably have a lot of confidence in that, right? So that works. That's a plan. And now you've completed these. You've asked your questions for all of these. Now you go, the plan for this week, right? You know where this is going. And again, you do this over and over again. So March, I don't know, maybe you do 1 to 7, okay? I realize weeks are going to be a little bit different, but this is how you're planning a little bit. So again, you ask yourself, so complete up to module 4. So complete module 1. And then you know what? If you want to have a meeting with the mentor to discuss analyzing, and maybe they're busy a lot of the time, you say book in meeting with mentor. Okay. How are you going to do? What are you going to do this week to work on the purchase of the software app that helps analyzing? Ask about analyzing software that they use. Okay. Great. So when you book in the meeting, that's you can simply ask that question in the booking, okay? Research which area of the country I'll invest in. So how do you research which area of the country you'll invest in? Maybe you say, find realtor in each, at least one realtor in each province. Okay, maybe you're in the US, I'm from Canada, I'll use each province here. In each province, so maybe Ontario, you'll find maybe you've got like 1, 2, 3. Let's say you've got 3 major markets in Ontario that you're going to be looking in. Let's say in Alberta, you've got 2. Maybe in BC, you've got, I don't know, it could be as simple as 2 there. Saskatchewan, you've got a couple, Saskatoon and Regina. So again, you're just going to go through and go Manitoba. You maybe in Manitoba, you're going to look at 1, just Winnipeg. So you're just going to go through every province and just go, how many realtors am I going to talk to? So you're going to find these realtors in each province and just start to ask them questions. Please start to send me deals, right? That's a great plan. If you do that in the next week, if you reach out 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, if you've got 10 people, and again, I'm forgetting provinces here, I'm leaving out provinces here, that's fine. I'm just giving you an example, okay? But let's say you reach out to those people. If you reach out to 10 people this week, that's 2 people a day now. You're figuring out already your plan for the day, okay? If you reach out to those people, I'm sure you're going to get some callbacks. And then next week, so here, maybe you go plan for this for week 2. Okay. Well, now you can have something else here. Okay. With each realtor and find replacements if they aren't the right fit. Okay. So again, maybe you're saying, hey, wait a second, I'm reaching out to these people. Maybe I won't find the right person. Again, maybe finding a realtor, maybe that happens in the second week. So you could say this. You could reach out to each realtor in the second week, because maybe for the first week, sorry, I'm going to just format this a little bit so it's easier to see. Because in the first week, you're going to book in the mentor and ask for realtor from network in each province. Or maybe you say major city. Okay, whatever it is. So again, look how I play with this. This is actually really important for your planning. I'm moving things around. Sometimes I go, actually, you know what, that fits better in week 2, or this fits better in week 1. But I'm constantly going back to something beforehand, and then going, hey, wait a second, how can I do this in a way that works? How can I do this in a way that makes sense, okay? So again, I'm just going to bring these down so that I can see everything. And actually, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Hopefully, you can still see everything here, but we can keep more on the page now. So again, for the first month, purchase a software that helps me with analyzing. We're going to be doing that by asking my mentor, research which area of the country. Great. That's going to happen in week 2. For week 1, I'm simply going to ask for a realtor from each person, and then I'm going to reach out, find at least one realtor in each province. You know what? I'm just going to leave that, okay? For right now, I'm just going to reach out a little bit. You know what? Maybe I'm also going to find good real estate investing research website or resource online. Okay, good. If you do this, maybe you're going to find the best place to invest in Canada. Maybe this helps your decision a little bit, okay? Now create my first presentation and try it out with Mark. What can I do with this? Again, maybe if your mentor is Mark, then maybe you say, okay, well, maybe I'll do this as well. So these are the 3 topics of conversation, okay? Maybe it is to ask about creating first presentation and ask for outline he uses. Okay, yeah. Ask for what outline I use, and then once you've got a great outline, now you can use that for yourself, right? So actually in week 1, you've gone a very great way to working towards this. So in week 2, and usually what I'll do is once it gets to the month, I'll plan out each week. So again, complete module 2. For week 3, module 3. For week 4, module 4. Again, you're just simply going to ask yourself again, for week 2, what else do I do? Reach out to at least one realtor in every province, okay? For first contact, maybe in week 3 or 4, you're going to say, okay, by week 4, I want to have asked every real estate agent and start asking them questions. What is the average GRM in their province or in their city? If they don't know what a GRM is, don't hire them, okay? Then they have no clue what they're talking about with investing. If they don't know some of these simple, it's a gross rent multiplier. It's a fairly simple term for investors. So if people don't know some of these simpler terms, they're probably not the right person for you. So maybe you're finding real estate investment realtors, right? That's a good thing to keep in mind with this. Not every realtor has the same focus, and that's completely fine. It doesn't mean they're good or bad. So reach out to Mark and ask how he analyzes properties. Well, I kind of covered that here. Analyze 10 properties each day. You know what? This sounds more like a routine. This is more like my routine, right? This is not anything. And maybe this happens for month 2. Maybe this is in April, okay? April plan. So again, I'm just gonna put that down and go, okay, well, maybe that's my routine for my April plan. I'm gonna be ready for that, and then by the time April rolls around, I'll be analyzing a property. Let's just look for this quarter. What did I want to do? Develop routine. Oh yeah, so that works. So my second month, by April, if I'm analyzing those 10 properties each day, I'm gonna be happy with that. Okay, I'm gonna be comfortable with that. I'm gonna have software. I'm gonna have a system that works for me. Put out week 3, week 4. Okay, so I'm gonna just delete this for a second. Actually, I'm not going to delete that. What I want to do also is I want to have a plan for today. Okay, so I'm going to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you know what? I've found that simply having a plan for this week and writing it down on a daily basis is really helpful. So again, I had the plan for this week, right? This is my plan for this week. Well, maybe I look at module 1 and go, okay, so there's like 45 minutes of video that I need to watch. So maybe on Monday I watch module 1 video. Okay, and I know it's going to take 45 minutes. And again, I've got a job aside from this. So you know what? That's probably enough for day 1. And to do that in one day, that's probably pretty good. And you know what? This is going to be Tuesday is going to be my backup day, just in case something goes wrong on Monday. That's fine. On Wednesday, I'm going to spend 30 minutes on taking action from module 1. And you know what? I am going to do that every day for the rest of the week until I'm done. And because I figure maybe an hour is probably enough. You know what? That gives me enough time. Okay, so I've got a couple of days to start the video, and then I'm going to really take action on that and spend consistent time on that. And book in a meeting with Mentor. Text Mark. Who knows? Maybe you're going to email me. Okay, text, email Mark and ask for booking with him. 25 minutes should be enough, right? So I'm going to ask for 25 minutes of Mark's time and make sure that he's good with that. And that makes Tuesday a little bit easier. And maybe you look at your schedule and you say, you know what, Tuesday's always crazy for me. The kids are in practices or lessons or something else going on. So Tuesday I'm going to keep a little bit lighter every week. That's completely fine, okay? So I booked in the meeting with the mentor. Anything else? Find a good real estate investing research website, resource online. When am I going to do that? You know what? Maybe I do that on my Saturday. I've got a little more time and I research investing resource for Canada, for Canadian market. Okay. And Sunday, hang out with my kids or family. Okay. Do whatever you need to, okay? And maybe you go, okay, this is great. So Monday to Friday is busy. Saturday is, I can just spend a bit of time in the morning, maybe before my kids get up on this. And then it frees me up to spend some time with my family. That's very important to me. Notice that actually I've kind of left out the self-transcendence piece. I've kind of left this out right now. You know what? I'm okay with that. Again, I wanted to decide, sorry, where is that? Plan for this year. Become confident. Okay, so you know what? I didn't even have that here. So maybe, you know what? This quarter looks really busy for me. You know what? Maybe I'm going to do is I'm going to have the plan for June to August. Okay? I'm going to try volunteering for at least 2 or 3 organizations, or at least have meetings. Okay, so again, that's your plan for June to August. You're going to still complete this self-transcendence piece of starting your own charity, volunteering. You're kind of trying to figure that out, okay? And it's okay if that happens in the second quarter. This quarter looks really busy. Maybe you look at a quarter and you go, you know what, I'm actually traveling more. I'm on vacation more this quarter. Or it's September and it's always crazy with my kids. Whatever it is. If you know that that's the case, maybe you're an accountant and you go, April is nothing's going to happen in March and April. That's fine, okay? Gauge by your own system where you need to spend your time. Looks like we've accounted for everything. Again, with your plan for week 2, you can set this out again. And then what I do, when I go through something like this, I make sure that I actually cross it out. For a long time, I would actually do something to cross it out, okay? So when you cross something out, it's very, very satisfying when you've booked in that meeting or you've checked off that box going, hey, I've done what I've needed to do this week. And as you check these off, they feel great. They feel fantastic, okay? Now, I also use a tool to do this. The tool that I use, and I'm going to get to something else in a second here because we've got to talk about routines. The tool that I use for this is Trello. Actually, I'm going to write it down in a space here, okay? Trello is a free tool. As of the time that I'm recording this, it is a free tool. You can sign up for Trello, and it allows you. I should create a video for that probably, because it takes just a bit of time to learn how to use it. It's fairly intuitive, but it allows you to create all these checklists in a really easy format, and then start checking them off, start doing them. And it feels so good when you're checking these off and you go, wait a second, I'm completing this. I'm working towards my goal, right? My big plan for this year, I'm making good headway. I'm on my way to purchase the deal. I'm learning about JV partnerships. I'm close to deciding by the end of the year which cause I'm going to invest my time and money in, okay, by volunteering. So again, as you start crossing things off, you start to build confidence, you start to build momentum, you start to build motivation in yourself to consistently take action here. Now, one thing that I didn't talk about were routines. And what I would do is I would actually set up a way to gauge your routines, okay? I'm trying to get rid of this big font here. So let's say, let's just clear some space here, okay? So the other thing I do is I have an annual routine. I have monthly routines. I have quarterly routines too, but I'm going to make this simpler for you. Daily. Now, when I have these routines, what I'm always asking myself is, what is the bare minimum I need to do to feel fantastic about what I'm doing, what I'm getting done? So, for example, in my daily routine, if I have my morning meditation, if I exercise, if I... Let me think about, I'm trying to think about the average person again. If the average person exercises, so maybe gets in their 5,000 steps or whatever it is, okay? 10,000 steps maybe. They exercise, they have their morning meditation, and they review my goals. If that's what this person does, at a bare minimum, if this person does this and spends 30 minutes on actions toward goals, you know what? If in my daily routine is, if I get these 4 things done, am I going to have a successful year? Yeah. You know what? These are the bare minimum. But if I get these done on a consistent basis, be careful with your routine of putting too much into it. It starts to become overwhelming. But for my routine, I go, okay, well, you know what? This takes 10 minutes. This takes 5 minutes. So the exercise I get throughout the day and spending 30 minutes on action sort, this is in 45 minutes, I can accomplish all of these except exercise, and exercise I finish up throughout my day. It's fantastic, okay? My weekly routine, maybe I review monthly plan. So again, this monthly plan that we created here, I just review this. And I plan it out for this week, okay? So I review my monthly plan. I schedule in each day's action steps. And I don't know, maybe there's something else with your family, okay? Family games night. Now, why am I putting things here like exercise and family stuff that aren't included in these 2 goals that we were going to focus on? This is your routine. These are the things you do so that you don't need to start working really hard on relationships. These are the things you're doing on a consistent basis, okay? Monthly routine. So it's complete monthly plan from quarterly plan. Okay, so maybe you spend, again, just a few minutes every time you do that. Maybe you do paperwork and taxes. Okay, so maybe you do your accounting on a monthly basis. You spend some time now. Maybe you set up my budget. So again, these are things that you're doing on a monthly basis that will take care of you. Weekly routine. So here's one thing that I have in my week: Sunday evening wine with tea. So my wife, we spend Sunday evenings together and talk about our lives and just connect in different ways, work on our relationship, do different things there, okay? So again, you can have different things. You can have the date nights with your kids, or date mornings with your kids, or whatever it is, okay? Annual routine, again, spend 1 day setting up next year's goals and plans, okay? If you spent even just 3 hours doing this, this would have a fantastic effect on your life. Now, as you go through this, you're going to think of other things that go in here, okay? So maybe on your annual routine, you also have 2 holidays with family. Maybe you have go to one seminar, or maybe that's on your quarterly basis. You go to a seminar, a weekend seminar every quarter, whatever it is. So you're consistently learning and growing. Again, it's taking care of those other areas, mental health, whatever it is, okay? Hopefully this starts to show you what this can look like. And again, I always do my routine last in the year to ask myself, what do I need to do to make sure that I'm completing my weekly goals, or my weekly plan, to complete my monthly plan, to complete my quarterly plan, to complete my yearly plan? What am I doing for those things? In my routine, I add things like family and like exercise and other things. And I always ask myself, if I just did these things for my weekly routine, spend a bit of time on a Saturday, or maybe that's the Tuesday where I have a little more time, I can get that done, right? Here's the other thing that I'm going to point out. Look at this. On Wednesday, by the way, I'm not putting, for my daily stuff, I'm not putting more than one, maybe two things that I'm going to focus on. Because my focus needs to be lasered in on the things that are going to be producing, they're going to be my highest income producing activities. If I take action for module 1 for 30 minutes, that's moving me in the direction of my goals. And when I look at this, when I look at the top, when I look at, wait a second, cash flow positive at $120,000 a year, that's a lot of money. How am I going to get there? I can start to become overwhelmed. But when I look at this and say, wait a second, I did my plan. It's Wednesday, if I spend 30 minutes on taking actions, profitable actions today, if I spend 30 minutes on it, I'm going to be well on my way. I don't need to worry about the rest of the week. I don't need to worry about the rest of the month. I don't have to worry about the rest of the year. I just focus on today. What do I need to do today? And this goes back to the idiom that I'm sure you've heard, and that is, how do you eat an elephant? Well, you eat it one bite at a time. If you look at the elephant and go, how am I going to fit that in my stomach? It's crazy. It seems so big. But when you break it down and go, wait a second, could I eat one, this sounds ridiculous, one scoop of elephant, right? If don't go killing elephants. I'm not promoting this. But if I just eat a little bit today, then guess what? Over the course of a year, I'm going to eat a lot of that elephant if it hasn't gone rotten, okay? This is a terrible analogy in so many ways. You get what I'm saying. Take apart a big goal, make it small for the day, and if you make it small for the day, you're going to be profitable for the year, okay? Make sure that your routines are working out. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to render this video and post it here, or have my assistant do it here right away. But what I'm going to ask you to do is as you watch this, I want you to write down the questions you've got. As you're thinking through this, what are the questions you have about this? What have I missed? How are you different? Maybe you need some different help. Maybe you don't think this way. What I love about the system is that I can consistently go back to the bigger things. So every month I go back to this plan and I look at what I've done and I keep track of what I've done. And I look, am I on course? Am I on track to move towards $120,000 of yearly residual income from real estate so that I can retire? Fantastic. If that's the case, great. If I'm not on track, I simply ask the question, what do I need to tweak? What do I need to tweak? What can I do differently? What am I missing? Do I need to learn something else? Do I need to grow in a new area? That's fine. Do that. And once I do that, I'll be fine. Now, I'm sure, I don't even look at the time, but I'm sure that this video is already ridiculously long. If you've watched this, congratulations if you're not asleep or you're not doing something else. This is something that has transformed my life. Instead of feeling confused about what I'm going to do on a yearly basis, what I do every day is I just look. What do I need to do today? Okay? What do I need to do today? What do I need to do this week? And you know what? It takes a few minutes every day, a few minutes every week, a few minutes every month of planning now, once I've done the initial on the annual basis, to really understand, what do I need to do? Procrastination comes from one of three things, typically. Either I don't know what to do, and this fixes that problem. I don't know how to do it. Well, you know what? This works towards fixing that problem. And thirdly, sometimes there's some emotion that's connected to a certain task that's just, it's weird. It throws us off and we don't end up getting things done. For example, for me, I had a really hard time writing papers in university. For some reason, I do all the research, but then when it comes to the writing, I would procrastinate on it. And I realized I knew how to do it. I knew what I needed to do. It was simply that I had a lot of really terrible experiences in school when I was in grade school, and specifically when it came to writing, and all those emotions would come back and they would stop me from writing. So procrastination comes in one of three ways, generally speaking. Either we don't know what to do. So yeah, I want to earn 120K a year, but what do I do this year? What do I do today to help myself? Well, this plan helps with that. Secondly, I don't know how to do it. Well, again, if I analyze this, and if I'm working towards this and I get stuck on something, I can ask myself, what do I need to tweak? I can talk to my mentor. I can talk to my coach. I can hire a mentor if I don't have one. Whatever it is, I can learn that way and start to go, what do I need to do? So I know how and I know what. Then the last thing is the emotional thing. For that one, that's a little bit trickier. Typically, you need a little bit of help figuring that out. I had to work for years on this on my own because the people around me, even mentors and coaches I hired, often had no idea how to help me with this. They could tell me what to do. Often they couldn't tell me what I needed to do to actually get it done, to work past procrastination. So if you need help with that, reach out to me on some level. If you look below the video here on YouTube, feel free to go there, okay? But I'm sure I'll have links to connect with me. But what I want you to ask yourself now is, what parts of this process, this planning process, what parts of it can you utilize for yourself? What I've just given you is a long process. I've given it to you in maybe an hour or so. To actually do it for yourself often can take 3, 4, 5 hours at the start. If you want to use a spreadsheet for this, do it. If you want to use, I don't know, a pen and paper and a journal, do this. Do whatever you need to do to help yourself work in the system, okay? Yeah, ask questions about anything that you're confused about or you want to learn more about. This is something that I've never shared publicly with people because it's such a big system and it takes so much time. So what I want you to do is work on this, practice, ask me questions, mess around with it, take the ideas that work for you. Don't worry about the ideas that don't. And what I want to wish you is every success in the world. As you understand how to plan your own life and your own business, you are going to have success. Enjoy.